Strictly Cymru is the first and only Welsh inclusive dance competition. With no dance experience required, participants are simply encouraged to move to the beat. The competition is the birthchild of Leonard Cheshire Cymru, a charity that helps disabled people live and enjoy life independently. The charity emphasises a growing concern around the lack of inclusion events available for people of all abilities.
So we know that from our research that there is just as much appetite for people with a disability to go out and do sporting and social activities such as dance as there is, as the general population. But the difficulty is that there's just not the same level of opportunity. Inclusive dance is very hard to come by. And it's twofold really. It's because there's not enough inclusive dance instructors, so people who know how to work with people perhaps with different needs, but there's also just not enough venues that are fully accessible, and there are wider barriers as well that people experience in terms of being able to access these sorts of things, from transport to feeling confident and comfortable about coming along, whereas they know when they come to Strictly they're going to be in a venue that's completely accessible, and they're going to be with lots of different people who are like-minded and there just to have a good time and get their groove on.
Despite being an opportunity for people to get involved, Rian emphasises that Strictly Cymru has helped people recover from their own injuries.
We also have a contestant who was from actually one of our services up in North Wales, a lady with an acquired brain injury who had very limited verbal capabilities. And we're not really sure why, the science behind it, if you will, but taking part in Strictly and sort of using, I guess, different parts of her brain to coordinate and control the dance movements seemed to spark something in terms of, the brain sort of finding new pathways or whatever. And suddenly her verbal skills started coming back. And she went from being quite non-verbal to somebody who now can converse. And the sort of the real factor here is dance and actually doing something slightly different as a way of, and there are different parts of your brain that come alive when you do different activities, and dance being one of them. And it just seemed to be the catalyst, if you will, the trigger for her to somehow get on that road to recovery, to being a bit more verbal, which was great.
With 6 heats across Wales giving opportunities to people to qualify for the grand final internationally, participants have been travelling across the country to not only pursue competing, but also enjoy each other's company.
Well, I came along with my partner last year. She was competing, and as a result, I've kind of got the bug now, and so this is the second heat I've entered so that I can hopefully get to the final, but we shall see. It's really good exercise, and it's taught me a lot, even about the wheelchair and using a wheelchair. So it's, even though you use it for years, you still learn things, and it's a really good way of keeping fit and healthy.
With this unique competition enabling people of all abilities to move to the music, the charity hopes to secure future funding to make it a permanent option for people to get involved in the future. Roger Harrison.